Hey, now I don't mean to be that, actually guy, but, actually, that's what this video is. It's how you get clicks these days. Come on. So Pokemon Sword and Shield have DLC. The Isle of Armor. It's the first time Pokemon has had DLC.
Game Freak is officially even scum greedier than before because it's 2012 and DLC is still a sin.
But no, whoa, hold on there. This isn't even the first time Pokemon has had DLC. Now DLC of this scale, yes. That's where the bit of technicality comes in. It's the first big DLC that adds something substantial to the game. So in a way, the first true DLC, according to some. But, like, horse armor was DLC for Oblivion. So no. Well then, maybe it's the first paid DLC. DLC you can't get without passing a paywall. Well, maybe, but that depends on your definitions. So let's work our way backwards through time and perhaps find the real first bit of DLC in the Pokemon franchise. Who's a kitty? Who's a kitty? Hey Josh, you wanna go play Pokemon Snap?
Yes. Hey, why is there headphones on the 64?
Those? It's the noise-canceling Bluetooth headphones from Cove Audio. If you use the coupon code LOCK65, they're 64% off right now, which makes them quite the bang for the buck. Probably some of the best quality headphones you can get for that price, and they supported us by sponsoring this video. It's amazing, and they're amazing, and I love them. I mean, let me just pull up my bullet points here. They last up to 12 hours of full-on use while it's blasting the music, but 200 hours of standby time. It's pretty fantastic, just like this game. Rapidashes! Speaking of rapid Pokemon, these are rapidly recharging through a USB port and come with a travel bag so you can have a rapid lifestyle. But at the end of the day, oh snap, this deal is good. So let's see, how far back do we have to go? That didn't take long at all. So if we're counting spin-offs, what else would you call the extra fighters in Pokken Tournament? They are literally DLC fighters. But okay, that makes Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra the first DLC behind a paywall in the main series. Alright, cool. Gotcha. But no. Let's work on some definitions before we continue. What is DLC? Well, quite literally, it stands for downloadable content. So if I wanted to be a smart mudspray, I'd say anyone who got the downloaded software version of a Pokemon game had DLC. Herder. Girder. But the colloquial term of DLC is used for add-ons and expansions. You have the game already, and online, you can find more content for said game, paid or not. The DLC adds things to the game, be it little things like a new weapon or horse armor, or big things like extra campaign missions, whole new expansions, or even just what could very well be considered its own game. My word, CD Projekt Red is a DLC god! So okay, DLC, what are you doing here? So DLC is content that you download into your game. So any mudspray watching should immediately be thinking, oh, I see where he's going with this. He's going to say that all of the downloadable event Pokemon are DLC, meaning Pokemon has had a load of DLC before now. And yeah, you're right, I am saying that. But don't worry, there is more. But let's cover our bases first. Downloading event Pokemon is, by all technicality, DLC. Well, at least some of them. Even all the way back since Gen 1's Mew, event Pokemon were a thing. You would go to places with the Gotta Catch 'em All booth, connect your Game Boy, and download the event Pokemon. However, its functionality was similar to just trading Pokemon, and I don't think anyone besides the muddiest of Brays would argue that trading is DLC. Technically, you are downloading information from the other person's device, but come on! You could also get some special event Pokemon by playing spin-off games, which would then transfer the special Pokemon to your mainline Pokemon game. But again, this isn't from the internet, so it's not really what most people would consider DLC. More recently, serial codes are used for such special Pokemon and other such downloads. You would get a piece of paper with a code on it, go into your game, enter that code, enter your password, connect to the internet, and then download the thing, be it a set of items or a Pokemon. This is how other methods of DLC worked for other games too. Some people don't like having their credit card info on the internet, so they go to a store and buy DLC physically, on a card, with a code. It's the same method, meaning, yes, this is more Pokemon DLC. It just happens to be free. Well, alright then, but Isle of Armor is still the first one behind a paywall. But is needing to buy a spin-off game for your DLC not a paywall? And here's a fun thing. In Pokemon Black and White, there was some special DLC you could get in the traditional DLC way, meaning from within the game itself. You could link your game with your Pokemon Global Link account, and then have access to more fun DLC, including backgrounds for your Sea Gear, stickers for your Pokédex, or even entire Pokemon musical performances. Cute. But still not a paywall. And besides, these are all little things. It's not like adding whole new story bits, like what Pokemon Conquest did with its DLC. Pokemon Conquest had 5 entire episodes of story-driven content as DLC. Though, from what I gather, they are actually in the game already. Buying the DLC just unlocks them. Getting the DLC now is not an option, as it was only offered for a limited amount of time, but you can still put in passwords to get them, because they're already on the cartridge. Odd. But even then, still not a paywall. This is the big stickler a lot of people have. Most of these are not paid DLC. It doesn't count. Isle of Armor is the first paid DLC. Well, I've got 2 more examples for you, and the first one really is just straight up DLC, like there's no arguing about it. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity had not 1, not 2, but 12 bits of DLC ranging from $2 to $3.50 each. Quite literally, paid DLC in the full-on Clique Wheel form. Each of these bits would add a whole new dungeon with new items and Pokemon. Quite straightforward and to the point. It's the first time in Pokemon history that traditional paid DLC was used, all the way back in 2012 Japan and 2013 US. But still, it was not a mainline game! But now, here's a potential definition tweaker. Are e-reader downloads DLC? Because then, well yeah, you had to buy the e-reader cards. You were buying extra downloadable content for Pokemon with e-reader cards. The e-reader was a sort of silly experimental add-on to the Game Boy Advance. With it you could scan cards to get little NES games to play on your GBA, or even get extra content in other games, literally downloading data from scans of the lines on the cards, which translated to code. You could buy entire packs of e-reader cards, and there were even sets of Pokemon cards with e-reader codes on them to add extra content to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. They would get you challenging new trainers to battle, or some exclusive e-reader berries. Yes, there were entire sets of berries that you could only get with an e-reader and the corresponding e-reader code. And considering you needed to not only buy an e-reader, and buy the e-reader cards with this extra content on it, yeah, it was very much a paywall for additional content you would download off of these cards. The earliest Pokemon DLC, if you don't count event Pokemon under technicality. But I mean, is downloading stuff from a card the same as downloading from the internet? I mean, it's all ones and zeros, so yeah, like... But ultimately, I would argue, no, the Isle of Armor is not the first bit of Pokemon DLC. It's the first big, substantial, mainline, traditional paid DLC, but if you have to add that many objectives to specify a thing, then is it really true? This has been a brief history of Pokemon DLC. Have anything to add? Let me know down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Never stop using your noggin.